In 10 seconds, in 9, in 8, in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Happy 1994!
Yo, welcome back, all you 1994 heads. Anyone who is new, is a podcast discussing hip hop, the culture that surrounds all of it, and a bit of sprinkle of current affairs. Except today, we've got a special guest, obviously. But follow us on 1994's yesterday, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, Apple Podcast, Spotify. You know what to do. Get there. All right, so this week we have Auckland, New Zealand's very own chef to the celebrities, cooked in over 35 countries a year, hip-hop connoisseur, Bondi's permanent resident, future husband, and the widely popular 90s hip-hop nostalgic, and Australia's #1 boutique burger, shake, dessert, and cocktail restaurant, Milky Lane's co-owner, Killa. Welcome to the show, bruh.
What's up, bro?
How are you amongst all this madness?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Surviving and, just kind of rolling with the punches, taking it day by day at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. It's a mad one out there at the moment.
Yeah, but, good to take a minute out from the stresses and have a chat with you and have a catch up.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, let's get stuck in because my man is a busy man. So you started chefing? Cooking, chefing?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were about 17. Started to get inspired, finding like a passion within cooking, moving up the ranks, etc. And then got offered a job in like Sardinia?
That's right. Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah, that's right, man. So I did my apprenticeship in New Zealand, worked at some pretty good joints there.
Yeah, nice.
Worked hard, worked my way up, like you said, and it was a restaurant I was a sous chef at the time. It was called Rocco. It was this cool
Shout out Rocco.
yeah, it was this dope kind of tappers joint. We used to do some cool food there. It was super busy. It was quite a pumping spot at the time. Anyway,
yeah, nice.
So I'd been there a couple of years, and I've been talking about traveling, and the owners were like, man, well, one of the owners was like, I worked out in this restaurant in Sardinia, you should I'll introduce you to the owner, like you'd love it there. And I was like, yeah, cool, fuck, sweet ass. Never heard of the place, but I was keen to spread my wings and see what was out there. So I did a bit of research on Sardinia. It's it's in the middle of the Med. It's part of Italy, between Corsica and Sicily.
Nice.
So yeah,
Good
next
place
thing I
to
know,
be.
yeah, bro. Next thing I know, me and a good buddy of mine are flying out to Sardinia to run this restaurant out there for a season initially, and it was insane. It's like they call it like the billionaire's playground.
Yeah, right.
It's just the whole coastline is just littered with super yachts and incredible looking Italian and Spanish ladies in bikinis and all that kind of stuff.
So not the worst place to do a season of you in
nah, man.
chefing out there.
Fuck, it was amazing. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Bit of a reality check for a young guy from Auckland who thought I knew a bit about the world. So
Yeah, I bet.
to go over there and just see the scale of these people's wealth and the culture shock as well. Italians know how to live better than anyone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That was an amazing experience. I ended up doing 2 seasons out there, running the restaurant and eating heaps of pizza, drinking lots of wine, and
Yum.
and just learning about the food and the culture. It was sick, man. It was pretty good introduction to Europe.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so then from there you went to London.
That's right.
Worked for Peter Gordon.
Yeah. So he's a top Kiwi chef, been around a long time. He's known for his fusion cooking. So he takes stuff from different cultures and mashes them together.
Yeah.
So his flagship store is called the Providors on Marylebone High Street.
Yeah.
I was there for like a year or so, in between stints in Sardinia, then went back there afterwards.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So I assume that you started to fine tune your craft by this time.
100%, yeah.
Other opportunities were coming about. What sort of opportunities sort of ended up presenting themselves to you?
Yeah, so I mean, like, as a young chef in London, you're just grinding, I'm talking, 70 plus hours a week.
Oof.
Getting paid very little. but you're there for the experience and the knowledge, and that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I was there. I was working away, and an old mate of mine from Auckland got in touch. He was actually a head chef that I worked for at a joint in Auckland, and he was like, "What are you up to? I heard you're over here doing a job. Do you want to come trial for this agency I'm working for?" And I was like, and he told me what the pay was. I was like, "Fuck, that's for a weekend." Like almost double what I get in a week at the moment. So I was like, yeah, cool. Didn't tell me too much about it. Turns out I was cooking for Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban.
Oh shit!
Who were in
big time?
It was in they were in Manchester for the weekend. I caught the train up there and cooked for them. He was doing a couple of shows, cooked for them backstage, and they liked the food, and I got the job, and that was me for about 5 years. After that, I was a personal chef and like a touring chef, which basically means you go on tour. Yeah, and depending on the brief, whether you're cooking for the band and the crew as well, or you're just a personal chef for the artist and their innocent, their partners or whatever.
Yeah. So what sort of so you said Nicole Kidman and
that was just like a little weekend thing, and then my first tour I went on was the Gwen Stefani tour.
Yeah, mad.
Oh, what was the album? Fuck. It was the Harajuku one. Like it was called like shit, I can't remember. But anyway, so I toured around with Gwen's chef for about 5 months.
Sick.
Just around Europe, Eastern Europe. The UK. Yeah, it was cool, man. I was like, at the time, it was mind blowing. It was like, shit, I didn't know this shit existed. Like,
I'm just from Auckland, like,
yeah, totally. I was like, well, it's not the type of job that gets advertised, because you get, you got to get the right to a person that doesn't get all starstruck or get weird or ask for photos. Or I mean, this was back before smartphones and shit. So, and. Anyway, so I remember being on tour and being like, fuck, like these guys are literally flying me around. Yeah. I'm on the tour bus, like in the fucking back lounge, getting on the piss and smoking weed every night with everyone. And it was pretty cool, like I just got to go to so many places that I didn't really even know, know about, so.
And so from those sort of the early days of traveling and cooking and stuff, is there any like standout times or crazy mad stories, like being backstage, like bumping into whoever and whatever?
Yeah, so after Gwen, I did the Madonna tour a couple of times, which I met some really cool mates on, and and those tours are fucking like intense. You're doing like just back to back to back to back shows, like for 5 months on end. Notoriously, Madonna is the hardest person to work for. She's basically owned by Live Nation, who just fucking, they're just a money making machine. And I'm talking like stadiums and Gothenburg and around Eastern Europe, like 80,000 people a night, like every single night. So that was crazy. There's obviously a bit of partying that goes on, and the work's intense, and a few people actually died on that tour. Like
what?
Yeah, I mean, like, crazy. Like it was just like
from the cooking, right?
Nah, man, I didn't kill anyone myself. I'd like that. There's multiple steel crews that are building the stages that are leapfrogging each other around Europe just to keep up. And these guys, once again, for the touring party, we were on the buses and on the planes and all that. But for these guys, they're self-driving themselves there, and up for days. Anyway, so it was it was either in Nice or somewhere in France, south of France. Yeah. They were just lifting up this big strut to put a lighting rig on, dropped it. For a couple of people lost limbs, a couple of people died. They literally shut down production for 2 days and like back at it.
Jeez, man.
So like just the scale of that was insane to see. But there was some good times as well. I was Tom Jones's personal chef for about 4 months.
Dude, and Sir Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Shit.
And he was a cool, the older kind of guys, like the Tom Joneses and the Rod Stewarts of the world. I worked for Pink Floyd as well, like Roger Waters. Right. Mark Knopfler, those are the guys that I really liked hanging out. Like there's no egos there.
Yeah.
You know, they've been around for so long and done it all. So
Yeah.
so anyway, I was cooking for Tom, and I got on with him pretty well. I got on with his road manager really well too.
Yeah.
And I was one morning, we woke up, we were in Rome, and the manager called me up on my hotel phone, and he was like, "What are you up to?" I was like, "Fuck, I'm just in my room, bro. Like, what's up?" He was like, "Meet us outside in 15 minutes. Put some clothes on." I was like, "Cool." Went outside. He'd called this other wardrobe girl that was on the tour.
Yeah.
Went and stood outside. Scooped up in the limo. They pulled up with Tom and everyone. I was like, "Fuck, what's happening?" And they're like, "We're off to the football." So just drove us to the stadium, you know, like through the back way, and ended up getting ushered up. So it was Roma Barcelona at the Rome stadium.
Yeah.
And so we're up in the private box with Tom drinking Dom P and fucking, and that was really cool. Like the other chick that was there, she was kind of pushing the boundaries a bit. Like I'm just like chill. I'm like, don't ask any hard questions. You know, I'm just happy to be there and talk shit. You know? But she was like, so fuck, tell some stories, Tom. She was like, you live. She was like, you're mates with Elvis. You're mates with the Rat Pack. Like, fucking, what do you got?
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, I lived in Vegas for 35 years, and his manager is actually his best mate. They're both cool old like fucking motherfuckers. They're all like gold rings on every finger, and they've done everything. Anyway, he was like, Tom, wasn't Elvis's Christmas special your idea? And Tom was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Just little things like that. I was like, wow, you know, that had fucking Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis and all the boys on it. It's just like, that's fucking mental that you like lived through all that shit.
Yeah, and I'm there drinking John P with you, like whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. You know, like, you know, I hung out with Ed Sheeran. So he, like, a good mate of mine's his personal chef. And when he was out in Sydney, my mate Graham that cooks for him had been telling him about Milky Lane and getting him hyped on it. He'd seen the socials and all that.
Yeah, sick.
So last show of the tour down at Sydney out in Homebush.
Yeah.
So we took heaps of food down, like fed all the crew. Everyone's frothing on it. Literally, Ed's coming off stage and we're in his dressing room, setting it all up. He came like into his dressing room, shirt off and shit. He was like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" Like, anyway, like we kind of cleared out, gave him a bit of space, and he ate the burgers. He came out like fucking high fives. He was like, "That was sick."
Yeah, amazing.
Anyway, so it was on St. Paddy's Day, and we had he had like an Irish band back there, and heaps of kegs of Guinness. And I was kicking it with his life's like entourage. He's got like 3 of his best mates with him on tour.
Yeah, right.
That one of them is his photographer.
That's
His other mate, I forget his name. He was like a banker in Dubai, and Ed was like, "Nah, fuck that off, man. You're coming with me."
Yeah.
And you see it in him. The dude's so fucking grounded and cool.
Yeah.
Like once again, he doesn't have that ego. You know, he was just talking to him like a normal cat. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you know, definitely met some interesting people along the way.
Did you ever meet anyone from like the hip hop world or anything like that, or brush shoulders?
Not majorly. Like I remember like seeing it was at the Brit Awards, like backstage. I was cooking for Dizzy. It was, you know, Dizzy Rascal was one of the people there,
right.
and I kind of like, you know, see what's up to him, and But
sick.
like, you know, just in passing, you know, I didn't really get the opportunity to kick it with too many people, you know, like I'm not one to cut, you know, if the opportunity arises, cool, but I'd never like.
But otherwise, that's that.
Yeah, and that's kind of an unwritten law of that industry as well.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So, you're basically traveling all over the show.
Yeah.
And then you end up in America for like 9 months or something like that?
Yeah, it was about 9 months for work, and then stuck around for a bit.
So, how did that sort of I remember we spoke like off camera before, and you were saying how American culture like influenced you a lot, and like the music and everything like that. So you're there for 9 months, you're working, like
then
it's crazy, like, and then
it was actually the first time I'd been in New York, and like you know, growing up, I was, you know, the fashion and the graffiti, the music, everything is just kind of like from a really young age, since I was like 9 or 10 or something, it just kind of blew my mind. You know, I think one of the first albums I ever bought was Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet, and
nice.
You know, I was just always pretty fascinated by New York and
Yeah.
hip hop culture in general. I was stealing spray can. Well, not stealing. Sorry, I was acquiring.
Acquiring, yeah. That's what I was like, acquiring, I get you. We all acquired, like, tins.
Yeah,
for sure.
totally. And I had my fucking jeans around my knees from, I was always very, like, from day one, very just immersed in hip hop and inspired by it. So yeah, I mean, we were there for the rehearsals, so we were staying in it's called Weehawken,
Okay.
which is just like literally over the other side of the Hudson from like Midtown Manhattan, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's actually where Frank Sinatra's from. There's this
Oh, it's true.
there's this full like statue
Yeah.
down on the walkway there. It's really cool.
Yeah,
It's Jersey. So we were the stadium where we were doing the rehearsals. Sorry, it was in an arena. So basically, it's Roger Waters' the Wall tour. So there's this incredible stage show that goes alongside it. They build the wall, then like planes crash into it, and
Wow.
all the shit. And Roger's just so pedantic. Like he watched the. It's got to be perfect. So we were there for a few months, just cooking for the band and the crew.
Sick.
It was great. We're doing some pretty big days here and there, but me and Scotty, my business partner in Milky Lane, and at the time,
Shout out, Scotty.
what up, Scotty? He was over there with me as well. We've cooked a lot around the world together, and we were just taking off, going down the smokehouses and going down the dive bars.
Yeah, nice.
And, just any chance we had, we were just getting involved.
I mean, from that, I guess you sort of, I mean, being a chef, and especially like by the time you got all this experience, you wanted to start something yourself.
That's right, yeah.
And then going through all those steakhouses and all the rest of it in America, specifically New York, that inspired you both to open 2 and 12.
That's right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, man. I mean, the game plan. I mean, even when I first got started my apprenticeship, I always wanted to own my own spot.
Yeah.
Like that was always what the goal was. Just have somewhere where me and my mates could hang out, and we loved the music, and like the vibe and the food and everything. So that was that's what we did. We set up 2 and 12, and right where we were sitting. About 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very different back then. It was literally, and all the smokehouses and that, they're pretty stripped back. Yeah. They're pretty basic. So it was like literally, we put some paint on the walls, like got some fucking cool photos and shit framed, and it was park benches. And, I also due to the budget we had, but that's the vibe. That's
part of it.
Yeah, that's all part of it. It's about the food and the experience. It's it's certainly not a $1 million fit out vibe. Yeah. So that's sort of, it was 2 and 12. We had it for almost 2 years. Yeah. Probably not the ideal market for it in Bondi. Like I think it would have probably taken off a lot better in Surrey Hills or like Midtown or something. Yeah. I mean, it went well, but it just, I don't know. It was our first restaurant, and we learned a lot. Like looking back, if I could rewind back to then and do it again, we'd do quite a few things differently. Yeah,
but I mean, I guess from the ashes, the phoenix rose that is the powerhouse of Milky Lane. What sort of, so Milky Lane, massive 90s hip hop nostalgia vibe going across all the stores. What sort of made you decide to go down this route? Because I mean, you started with like a steakhouse type thing, and then
I mean, once again, it's the partners changed a bit. So two of the guys that were involved in 2 and 12 left, and then Christian and Petey got involved with Shout Out Boys, which I think there was a better synergy there between us, and we created a concept once again just based on stuff we love, but more of a mass appeal vibe to it. Whereas 2 and 12 was a bit more niche. Like you had to get it to fucking get it. Like, like people would come in and they'd be like, "Fuck, what's all the park benches and what?"
Yeah,
We're here. It was, we got some really good interior designers involved. Josh Clapp, who's one of the best in the game. Like Days One.
Shout outs.
on the cans.
Yeah.
You know, like the Last Supper piece we had down there. You know, just on our launch night, one of the girls that came down posted it up, and Snoop Dogg reposted it.
Yeah, right.
He's actually reposted it 2 or 3 times. You know, so we definitely.
Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah, which was like at the time was like, fuck, that's
Yeah,
mad.
I can't even imagine like you know, one of these people who I've listened to all my life, and then
Totally.
suddenly they're just like, yeah, I dig like that shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that's my shit. Like shit. Like
Totally. And that's how it was from the start, you know, like it just really started with such hype behind it. Christian had been, you know, he's a gun on the socials, and he'd been like hyping it in the background. At the time we were doing these like conut desserts.
oh yeah, I
Well,
remember those.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Which were like
that went massive.
Yeah, it went crazy. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, literally, like, had queues down the road. We didn't even know how to make the thing, but we saw it was like trending online. So we
Yeah.
were like, you know, we're the first ones to make it and recreate it.
Yeah.
And that's been a bit of a theme with us as well. You know, we watch closely what's happening online, and then we recreate it, give it our own spin, and be first to market with it.
Yeah.
Which has helped to kind of keep the hype going, and you know, just stay front of mind with people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that definitely went mad viral and all over like the news and stuff. I remember
Oh,
seeing it like
a
that,
bunch
right?
of sites. Like we've been on the news
With a few things, yeah,
With a
right.
few things, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess when you kind of get known as innovators or whatever, you know, people are watching you a bit more as well, and you know, like the lad Bibles and those kind of guys,
yeah.
you know, and so that, you know, we're on their radar. So if we come out with something cool, they're quick to share it. And
So is it like usually like a combination of you and Scotty thinking these things up, or is it some other people involved? Or
Well,
how's that work?
our partner Christian, he spends a good portion of his life on. He runs all our socials and that. So he's constantly on his phone and constantly like. I sometimes think he spends more time in the virtual world. So yeah, I mean, he's super fast to identify a trend.
Okay.
And then we collectively recreate it, and you know, but you know, it's a team thing. We're always thinking of new ideas and trying to, you know, trying to do something a bit different than what the rest of the market is.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, you definitely do that, and you won awards and stuff like that, which is a mad one.
Yeah, totally. We've got a few business awards now, which look great on the email signature. You know,
Yeah, for sure. That clout.
Yeah, bro, totally. Sometimes I go to, like, if a bit of an important email comes through and I'm going to send it from my phone, I'm like, nah, I'll hold off till I get to my computer.
Yeah, nice. And so Bondi being the first one,
Yeah, that's right.
and then it grows by what, 2-3 more? Pretty rapid.
Yeah, so our first franchise we opened was in Cronulla.
Okay.
Which is a great response. Then it went to Parramatta. The next one after that was actually the Gold Coast.
Okay. Yeah.
So currently we've got 11 stores open now.
Woo wee.
Yeah.
My man, doing big things.
So in 3 states, just opened the ACT Canberra was the last shop we opened.
Yeah, nice.
Which is doing super well. Yeah, I mean, bro, it's been a crazy journey.
Yeah, right. And then, so I mean, if we sort of put fucking Rona to one side, I mean, I feel like it's safe to assume we're thinking international. We're thinking,
man, we
everywhere. We're thinking,
yeah. Like, I mean, we kind of chatted about it briefly before. You know, I like to see us as like a kind of time capsule kind of joint, like not too different to Hard Rock Cafe. You know,
okay.
like, you know, I find, you know, they're a bit more generic, but you know, do you know what? They've fucking done incredibly well. They're an international
Absolutely.
powerhouse. So, you know, I find that quite a good comparison. You know, like they're a time capsule of whatever it is, 60s, 70s rock and roll, whereas we're like a 90s hip hop time capsule where you can get that nostalgic food and drinks and you know, I think that themed kind of restaurant. Well, I know we've had a lot of international interest. You know, ideally I'd love to see a Milky Lane in every major city. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is definitely, you know, we were in talks with people from Dubai and Singapore. It had been for a while. You know, it was pretty serious, but yeah, the Rona knocked the wind out of the sails.
Yeah.
But it's all right, man. Like, well, you know, I think the people that weather the storm and get through will come through stronger. You know, it's definitely made us look at every aspect of the business, and you know, like when all of a sudden your revenue drops by 90%,
Yeah.
because of circumstances out of your control, it's like you really have to look at every part of it. And it's a fucking massive slap in the face and a big learning experience. But we're determined to push through and come out stronger.
And I'm sure you will, my man. You've got, it's not just, this a restaurant that's great. It's a brand. You got a
That's
brand.
right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's becoming iconic. I think safe to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think you're good. I think you're good.
Totally. Oh, bro, you got to back yourself, right? Like, I know we'll pull through it. But yeah, it's just been a bit of a, like, for everyone, man. It's not just us, of course. There's a lot of people that have got it a lot worse, but it's evolving, and we got to evolve with it.
That's it. Always got to keep evolving.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier about Snoop reposting pictures. So you've had like Sean Kingston, Ed Sheeran mentioned before as well.
Yeah.
Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee
He's been
yo.
down a couple of times. Yeah.
Rod Stewart, Post Malone, Boogie with the Hoodio, Coolio, DJ Yella from NWA, to like just name just a couple of people.
Yellow was dope, man. Like, he actually came and DJ'd at the Gold Coast.
Oh wow, that's what it was, right?
Oh,
Wow.
but no, he'd been in before that.
Oh, okay,
just came down from a burger, and he did like a big plug, like fucking. Because
Yeah.
we've got a full NWA piece.
On the Gold Coast.
At the Gold Coast one, we
Okay.
built this like 3D train, so it looks like they're sitting inside the train looking out.
Shit.
And he was like, "Oh, I wasn't there, but
Yeah.
the store owner, the franchisee down there, was like, fuck, he was fucking mind blown by it." And he did like a big plug on his personal Insta, like fucking bigging it up, and then he wanted to come down and DJ. So yeah, I mean, bro, that kind of stuff is super cool.
That's crazy, man. So like, how does that feel, that having like these types of people who some look up to, some of and just respect because of their stature, getting that recognition and that hype from them, like that must feel like mental, man. Like not just for you, but like for the whole crew involved.
And stuff like that, and also just props from customers, that just your everyday people that come in and they're like, "You're my favorite joint. Like, I'm gonna come for my birthday," and also 100% when famous people come in, that's great. But yeah, I mean that's some of the most rewarding part of it for sure, without a doubt. Yeah,
absolutely, man. All right, so this kid from Auckland, now future husband in Sydney, it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
So far, right now, from 17 to now, whirlwind, right?
Yeah, totally.
How do you think hip hop as a whole has shaped you as the person you are now? Like, clearly it's influenced your restaurants, etc. But how do you feel like it's, become your arm or your leg or whatever? Like, how's it,
Man, I guess it's one of the constants that have just been there for as long as I can remember, like in my younger days, like probably the influence wasn't the best, but at the same time, that's all
makes you who you are.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of my best friends in life, we've been, just hung out, fucking listening to just jamming the music and calling each other when we hear something new, and so yeah, I'm like I say, it's one of the things that's never part. It's still here, and it still inspires me, and and it cross pollinates as well. Like we're talking about with the restaurant, and so man, it's definitely it's been a huge part of my life, and it will continue to be
forever.
Forever, yeah, definitely,
yeah, sick. So been a part of your life forever. Then artist. Who's your man? Who's your go-to? Would you say?
Yeah, do you know what? There's so many albums like that I can just go back to fucking time after time. But if I had to choose one artist that I've been listening to since probably 2000, for 20 years.
Yeah, that's long,
A
long time.
I'd have to say Jay-Z, just because he just still to this day drops bangers, but they've that they've changed and evolved, like, from his original kind of grimy, can't knock the hustle, like, fuck it,
Yeah.
like street stuff that used to really resonate with me as a kid, like sometimes you go back and listen to things and you're like, yeah, it doesn't make the same sense to me that it used to, like,
I know what you
back
mean,
then.
yeah.
But with Jay-Z, like, just the stuff he's done in business and with his networks and his brand, like,
Yeah.
fucking, talk about cross-pollination, man. That dude's like fucking, that's massive in the alcohol world, fucking sports, fucking.
Yeah, crazy. Like, just own a basketball team, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
relax.
yeah,
Like,
totally.
fuck.
So that shit blows me away, and that's definitely a person that, if I could choose someone to sit down and have a drink with, and like, Jay would be fucking right
That's
up
your
there
man.
for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I reckon for me it would definitely be KRS-One.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
I've watched
Just the
like his.
teacher.
Yeah, that's it,
Yeah,
man. Like,
yeah.
he's just like that original,
Yeah.
pretty much, and it's like.
And like, I mean, like,
Right.
what I was just saying about Jay-Z with that journey that's, fucking incredible, like the American
Yeah.
dream. But you think about KRS-One's journey, like, as a fucking street kid almost,
Yeah.
like fucking bombing the subways.
Yeah.
To being an original fucking lyricist, to, like, to being a fucking icon.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Know, like,
And still being like how he is today without being like that guy who's in the limelight and all the rest of it. It's just
Yeah.
like he's like everybody knows who he is. He's like your favorite artist's favorite artist.
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much. You know
Like,
what I mean?
created the boom bap. Like,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, definitely.
All right. Well, leading on from that, moving on. Our song of the week. So sometimes we do albums, sometimes we do song this time. So it's not easy to pick just one song from this specific artist to talk about. And I can assure you it won't be like the last time that we talk about this person, that's for sure, on the show. But for today's song of the week, it's none other than the guy who calls himself Jigga Hove. The man, the myth, the legend, that is J to the motherfucking Z. Heart of the City, Ain't No Love from Blueprint. Came out 2001. I mean, what a fucking song, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Let's say firstly, it's a song that could legit end and be started again, and you'd be all right with that.
Totally.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
could definitely listen to it back to back 3-4 times and just be like, pick out all different parts of it, and you're just like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
you know what I mean? But just for anyone who hasn't heard the song before or anything like that, little rundown. It's basically a massive message and a reminder that he is just amazing.
It's also a bit of history of the late 80s, early 90s as well. Fucking, calling out like fucking the Beastie, the Fat Boys breaking up.
Yeah.
Like talking about Biggie and just kind of really giving you a feel of that New York fucking formative 90s fucking
Absolutely,
street
man.
hip hop.
Absolutely. That album is matched with Kanye's. Funny enough, Kanye's like or Kanye or however. I know I say it wrong to everyone else. Producing a lot of the tracks on there.
Yeah.
Specifically this one as well. Like using that sample from I've got it written down here if I can find it. Bobby Blue Bland's Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City. Like just on point, man. Like
Totally. And it's that was the feel of the era as well, like all the stuff that Bad Boy was doing at the time, like all those old samples and man, it definitely captures that era for sure.
Yeah. What would you say, if you can? I mean, it took me ages to even decide with this track. I had a couple in my in mind, but favorite J track rather, or J era. Maybe?
Man, one that just fucking jumps to mind straight away. Click, the tune Click.
Yeah.
With it's got. It was actually, the funny thing is, like when we moved into the site and we got this the same sound system we've got installed here now.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I actually fucking spent a bit of some good money on.
Yeah.
And that was the first tune I put on when I got the stereo.
Sick.
I had it so loud. There was literally like people from the gym were coming out and going, what the fuck's going on there? Because it's like aggressive and it's just a fucking angry banger. Like, fucking,
Yes. I love that.
it just
I love
disturbed. I had the windows wide open and the whole neighborhood just came out going, fuck, what are you doing? Who's this guy?
that. I'm here, bitches.
Yeah, totally.
What up? And then your favorite J era, if you can pinpoint.
Man, like, I definitely, I became a fan, from the before Blueprint, like, like literally from the late 90s.
Yeah.
If I had to, so favorite era,
It's tough.
it's tough, man. And do you know what? And that's why I kind of pick him as the number one, because there are so many good eras,
Yeah.
like I'd love to hear someone else name a rapper that stayed as current or fucking,
Yeah.
to
his
me
caliber
there
type
isn't.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like on that fucking, whether you want to call him best or best top five,
Yeah.
Nas has like done some good stuff, but just to stay on point album after album, everyone drops a couple of fucking shockers here and there, but,
Yeah, for sure.
but generally, like, man, most of the stuff he puts out is pretty on point,
Pure fires.
Yeah.
All right, man. Moving on from that, first impressions. So we listened to a track by Optics and Psalm 1. Palm
Yeah,
1, something like that. Psalm 1.
Palm, maybe.
Palm 1? Yeah. Palm 1. Palm 1 and Optics, Cult of Ye. It'll be over there on the First Impressions playlist for all you people who want to have a little listen and give us your first impressions. So don't forget to slide into the DMs. But yeah, 5 Words of Less. What did you think of it upon hearing?
Definitely like atmospheric banger for sure.
Done. I like it. Good. Now you got more? You want to say more?
I didn't quite understand the hook though, like because they're talking about Ye coke. Like, are they talking about Yeezy cocaine? I couldn't quite.
Yeah,
couldn't quite
I was
figure it out.
super confused. Like it's like they're talking about like Kanye's wardrobe, but then Ye, and then like coke,
Yeah.
and then something. It was like
I was trying to get my head around it. I couldn't quite. So that kind of frustrated me a little bit because I couldn't fucking quite. Maybe I need to listen to it again, but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I got beat was dope.
Yeah.
Lyrics whack.
Yeah,
Basically.
totally. Yeah.
But yeah, the beat was pure fire.
yeah,
man. I could listen to
that
that
hook got
all the time.
annoying. Like it was
Yeah.
just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I think they did the hook like 5 times as well. Something ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
like, shut up. But apart from that, no, it was all right. Like I said, check it out on First Impressions playlist on Spotify. Will be coming to Apple Music. I just Rona. Moving on. So Milky Lane, what's it's hard because I want to say what's next, but
Yeah, it's crazy. Like if we had this chat a couple of weeks ago, bro, mate, I had it all mapped out.
yeah, shit.
But you know what, mate? We're at the moment, like everyone else in my industry and a lot of other industries, we're just
Playing it by ear.
playing it by ear and just trying to look after the people that are around us. The staff that have been been there and helped. Have been instrumental in our success. Now we're just trying to adjust our model to look after them and look after ourselves and just it's like, man, it's survival mode for everyone out there at the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean that's the reality. Like I say, we I know we're going to make it through, but it's just an evolving thing. It's day by day, hour by hour. Yeah.
Fair. All right, so then in that regards, then what's next for Killer P?
Man, bro, I'm very focused on the work side things at the moment. Any plans to travel or like I got engaged last year. There's
Shout out.
yeah, shot Daisy.
Daisy.
I'm definitely. There's no weddings this year. You're not even allowed in a room with more than 5 people.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Ridiculous. Well, not ridiculous, but just mad.
So for me, like I say, it's just knuckling down and doing what we do and getting through. And for anyone that's listening to this, just support your locals.
Absolutely.
All those people, you appreciate what they do. Just they need you at the moment. So So go down and just spend some money with them and just spread a bit of positivity and
Share on your shows, on your socials.
yeah, share on your socials. Just any every little bit counts. Whether that it's monetary or just encouragement. Like that stuff. It does help. It really does.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely reach out and see if your locals do delivery themselves as well.
Yeah, just those little 1%ers, man. Like, if you can call them up and you can pop up the road and grab it.
Yeah.
Like, man, that makes such a big difference to your local restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely. Any sort of shouts you want to do before we wrap it up?
Man, just it's a pleasure catching up with you for a chat, man.
For sure.
I love chatting hip hop, and man, I don't want to shout out us specifically. I just like I said,
Shout out Milky Lane. I done it for you. What up?
Yeah, just like I said, man, just support your locals and don't be a dick. Don't fucking some people are just reacting badly and that's just creating extra problems. There's no need, man. There's fucking no toilet paper shortage.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It doesn't exist. Like, fucking people are scrapping over fucking toilet paper. For no reason. Like, just don't be a dick. Just go down there. You got to look after yourself, but you got to look after your community as well.
There you go. There you have it. Look after your community. On that note, remember, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. You know what to do. Follow all that madness. Milky Lane, they got a Instagram. Subscribe to that. They got some mad stuff going over there. For all you people who are outside of Australia who do listen, go follow, man. Support. That little bit helps, man, because if you follow and then your mate goes over to Australia, goes to Bondi or any of the other places, it all trickles down.
Give me a shout.
Yeah.
I'll shout you a beer.
There you go. You heard it here first. Pat Killa will shout you out a beer, but you got to find him first.
You got to find me.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
On that note, peace.
Peace, bro.
Peace.